Mary Kay, how are you?
I'm great, guys. How you doing?
Doing well. And Mary Kay, we got to hear from Johnny Manziel yesterday. He talked about the social media photos. He talked about maybe not being very tall, which we all kind of knew. Was there anything different from Johnny Manziel yesterday than we've heard in the past?
No, not really. I think it was the only thing that I thought was a little bit new was, the admission by him that, hey, I'm only 5'11 and a half, and I'm not going to be able to necessarily see over guys like other quarterbacks do. It's not like we all didn't know that already, but just to kind of hear him say it, I thought was quite interesting. The other thing is, I was struck by the fact that, he completely 100% is still defending, his weekend activities, even though, we all know now that some of those weekend activities could actually get him into trouble, and, some of that stuff landed him in rehab last year. So I was surprised, actually, at some of the stuff, even though it was tame for Johnny, I was surprised we saw some of that stuff coming out over the weekend and that he's standing by it.
Mary Kay, what are we looking for today and even tomorrow on the practice field to give an indication on who the starting quarterback is going to be Sunday against Pittsburgh?
Well, this is the last, sort of big day of install for offense. Mm-hmm. And if Josh McCown really isn't feeling up to full activity and really, 100% ready to go by today, I think they have to give serious consideration to starting Johnny Manziel in this game. I mean, you can't push it too long. You've got to get the game plan down. You've got to get, Johnny really ready to go, or whatever the case may be. So I don't know. I walked away from Josh McCown yesterday feeling like he was a little bit discouraged about how he felt. I think he's still about 50-50 at this point, or at least he was yesterday. We should know more when we see what he does today.
Mary Kay, going back to Johnny Manziel, you did, of course, publish a post just recently. It's at cleveland.com/Browns, and I'm going to read the first paragraph here. You basically say the Browns can't count on Johnny Manziel as their franchise quarterback on or off the field and need to draft a quarterback high in the 2016 draft. Are you thinking the Browns might be feeling the same way you are about Johnny, especially because, as you say later, they're 2-7. At some point, you'd think they'd have to find out about this kid, and there doesn't seem to be a rush to do so.
Well, you know what? I mean, they've defended him all year long, and they keep saying, we keep hearing from Ray Farmer, from John DeFilippo, and everyone that they still think he can be the guy. But I think by now it's pretty evident that they are having their serious doubts, like so many other football experts in the NFL have had their doubts. And even if they do think that he can cut it at some point, if he's not ready now with, 7 games left in the season and they just still don't know yet, then you cannot go into next year thinking that he definitely 100% can be the guy, especially not when you have such a high draft pick and there are some intriguing prospects coming out in the draft. So that, coupled with the fact that I think he is showing major red flags off the field, and I didn't even get into this. I kind of almost forgot to get into the fact that, he's on the injury report every week with tendonitis in his right elbow. So that there are some major concerns here.
Mary Kay, if you go back to the way that he played Thursday night against Cincinnati, obviously Mike Pettin said, we want to get him calmed down. He missed some reads. He wasn't doing some of the things that we wanted him to do, at least inside the pocket. After they had a chance to reevaluate the way that Johnny played on Thursday, do you think their initial impressions were the same?
I think so. I think when they look back, Mike, that was Mike's, first honest, heat-of-the-moment reaction at halftime that, hey, you know what, he missed, some of those early reads and kind of bolted a little bit too early and we needed him to do some other things. I think that, yes, I think when they went back and watched the film, they felt the same way. There were a lot of things that he missed, even as early as the first play of the game. So, he's just kind of still playing Johnny football and not really going through the reads or the progressions yet. And I didn't even think that the defense was playing fast, that the Bengals defense was playing fast, or that they were really attacking him in that first half in the way that, say, the Rams may have, or, the Cardinals may have. So I do think that that they are looking at the film and saying, you know what, we're just not 100% sure here.
Mary Kay, does that sort of explain the disconnect between, there are a lot of fans out there that see Johnny on Thursday night and they see him running around and throwing that touchdown pass and all of that. and the coaching staff who sees the film, and of course there was that SB Nation post that was going around yesterday showing all the open receivers. Is that where the disconnect comes in that, fans love to see the excitement of Johnny Manziel, but Browns coaches are looking at this film and they're saying he's not playing quarterback at an NFL level?
Well, that's right. And, when you see him running around in that first half, I think everybody got really excited. I mean, if you followed Twitter throughout that first half, there were plenty of really, smart NFL analysts and writers and people that were really excited about Johnny. And that's the Johnny effect. He does have that impact. But if you take that away from him, which the Bengals did in the second half, then, as I said in my column today, kind of siphons the air from Johnny football. And it's not that the Browns don't want Johnny to be Johnny. It's that they recognize that opponents will take away the Johnny effect, the rolling out impact and those kinds of things. And then he has to be able to function within the framework of the pocket. And again, even Johnny admitted that at times he can't even see over these guys.
Mary Kay, I'm going to ask you a question that I've seen a lot on Twitter recently, and people have mentioned it in the comments section of cleveland.com. Does Mike Pettin like Johnny Manziel?
I think he wanted to like him this year, and I think that John DeFilippo wanted to like him, and I think Kevin O'Connell wanted to like him. I think they all wanted to believe in him. I think Mike Pettin had renewed hope for Johnny Manziel. But I am starting to believe that the offensive coaches are seeing what the offensive coaches from last year, Kyle Shanahan and Dow Logan, thought. That even though they're excited about some of the things that he can do, the total package isn't there, and you're probably, at least right now, not going to be able to win with him.
Mary Kay, we're going to get a look at the other first-round draft pick for the Browns this week. Cam Erving is going to start at left guard, a position he admitted that's where he's taken the fewest reps so far when he has gotten reps in practice. What are you expecting to see? I know it's the offensive line, but what are you expecting to see out of Cam Erving?
Well, fortunately, he's in a nice little cocoon there in between Joe Thomas and Alex Mack. However, the Steelers, they know what's going on here, and they will do everything they possibly can to try to exploit that and to take advantage of him. And there was a vine going around that some of us were even looking at again in the press room yesterday about him just getting completely knocked back and in the last game. And so you just know that the Steelers are ready for that. They've seen it themselves, and they're going to try to make it a very long afternoon for Cam, and he's got to be on point.
All right.